What is going on, guys? Jesse here. So the AirPods Pro have been my go-to set of earbuds pretty much ever since they came out in 2019, even though I wasn't even daily driving an iPhone until very recently. I've put these guys up against some of the best offerings out there from Sony, Bose, and Sennheiser, and every time I still end up reaching for the AirPods Pro. And if you want a more detailed explanation as to why, go ahead and check out my comparison videos on those. But basically, as a complete package, I just felt that the AirPods Pro offered the best experience out of all the earbuds that I've tried. Like, they never come out on top in any one category like sound quality or battery life, but they end up making up for it in other areas. So enter the Beats Fit Pro, which are also made by Apple, pretty much match the AirPods Pro feature for feature, and also cost less. So yes, the Beats Fit Pro retail for a price of $200 US, which is $50 lower than the retail price of the AirPods Pro. However, since the AirPods Pro have already been out for a couple years at this point, they are readily available from pretty much anywhere except for Apple's own website for $200 as well. So in my book, these are two direct competitors. So with that out of the way, let's start this comparison off by looking at the cases that they come with. And this is where my first and probably biggest complaint with the Beats comes in. The case just seems unnecessarily large to me. I'm not an engineer or anything like that, but it just seems like they weren't even trying to keep the size down with this one. Other than that though, the case is pretty nice. It seems to be made out of a high quality plastic with a matte finish that feels really nice to the touch, and of course, that iconic B on the top as well. On the other end, we've got the case for the AirPods Pro, which is honestly probably one of my favorite things about them, and I know that sounds kind of silly, but just in terms of how well these fit into my life, that makes a huge difference. First of all, it's really compact. Like, if I want to throw these in my pocket, it just really doesn't feel like much of a commitment. But with the Beats, you throw it in there and you pretty much have to dedicate that entire pocket to them, and now you've also got this huge bulge as well. And with AirPods, you just barely notice that they're there. And the second thing that I love about this case is the sound that it makes. I'm a pretty big fidgeter, and opening and closing this thing is just so satisfying. I don't know, maybe I'm just weird or something, but there's just something about it. One of the only things that annoys me about this case though is the lightning port. So I know I've said this 1,000 times at this point, but come on guys, USB-C. It does have wireless charging though, which is great because I just find that to be way more convenient than wired charging in general. The Beats case has USB-C, which is great, but lacks wireless charging, which just seems like a really strange omission, especially at this price point. In terms of actual battery life though, the Beats are quite a bit better with a rated 6 hours of playtime in the buds themselves and another 18 hours in the charging case. While with the AirPods, you get 4.5 hours of playtime in the buds with another 19.5 hours with the charging case. So both are getting about the same 24 hours of total playtime if you include the cases, but with the Beats, they have an extra hour and a half in the buds, so they definitely get the win in my book. Also, both have a fast charge feature as well for an hour of playtime with a 5-minute charge, which comes in really handy if you forget to charge these before you go to the gym or something. Now onto the buds themselves, both of these use a sort of silicone rubber tip design, and the shapes of the parts that actually go into your ears are very similar. So comfort-wise, they're actually very similar as well. Like, ignoring the stem on the AirPods and the wings on the Beats, these pretty much have the same shape to them. I find that they're both pretty comfortable, but over longer periods of time, like anything past maybe 2 hours, they start to hurt my ears. The fit on these two are pretty different though, with the Beats sporting these flexible wingtips that tuck into the inner part of your ear for a more secure fit. And honestly, they do a really good job with that. Honestly, I've never really had an issue with the AirPods falling out of my ears in the first place, but if you have had issues with them in the past, then the wingtips on the Beats should be able to help you out a lot in that area. And if you're looking for a pair of earbuds to specifically go to the gym and work out, then the fit alone makes this a really good reason to get the Beats over the AirPods. So overall, the Beats Fit Pro have a better fit than the AirPods overall, and with that name, I guess they should. Of course, all of that is with the caveat that all of this depends on your specific ear shape, and I can't guarantee anything. Also, both of these earbuds are rated at IPX4, meaning you should be covered for splashes, and I mean, I've been using the AirPods Pro for a couple of years at this point, and I haven't ever had an issue with these bugging out because I've been sweating too much. So you really shouldn't have anything to worry about with either of these. Now, moving on to some of the features, these both pretty much match each other feature for feature. Both have active noise cancellation, transparency mode, spatial audio, media controls, and pretty much anything you would need in an earbud. So let's start this off by talking about the ANC. So even though both of these have it, the AirPods Pro definitely perform a little bit better in this category. It just does a better job with canceling out more noise and does a better job feeling a little bit more natural as well. And the same goes for transparency mode, which is honestly really unfortunate because you would have expected these to perform equally, seeing as they're made by the same company. But honestly, it's not too big of a deal because even to this day, the ANC and transparency mode on the AirPods Pro is exceptionally good and is a very high bar to clear. So what I'm trying to say is if you've never experienced the ANC on the AirPods Pro, you probably won't be disappointed in the Beats performance in that area. However, if you are after the best ANC, the AirPods Pro are still better. And as far as the mic quality goes, here is a sound test so you can judge for yourself. Alright, and here is the mic test for the AirPods Pro. A lot of people seem to like these, and this is what they sound like. Next up, let's listen to the Beats. And here is the mic test for the Beats. Hopefully they sound pretty good, but you guys can hear for yourself and decide whether or not you like the call quality on these guys. So there's a mic test. Let me know which ones you guys thought was better in the comments. Anyways, moving on, these also both have media controls, but I much prefer the way that it's done on the AirPods. So with the Beats, you basically press right where the B is on the buds, and there's a tactile button that activates the controls. The issue for me is that whenever you use it, it just feels a bit uncomfortable because you're basically pushing them further and further into your ear. Also, because of the location, anytime you need to adjust the earbuds, it's very easy to accidentally hit them and pause whatever you're listening to, which is just a little bit annoying. The AirPods, on the other hand, have these pressure-sensitive pads on the stems of the earbuds that pretty much make it impossible to accidentally press because you need pressure on both sides. And it also doesn't force you to press the earbuds deeper into your ears every time you use them. Honestly, probably my favorite implementation of media controls on any earbud that I've used. Also, last thing about the Beats that I was pleasantly surprised with was that they actually have an H1 chip inside, which enables all of the Apple-centric features like spatial audio and auto switching between your Apple devices, which is something that I use all the time. And it was really surprising to see Apple put this into a Beats product because they usually reserve that for the AirPods line. Anyways, last but not least, let's talk about the sound. And I think most of us who are familiar with the brands involved know where this is going. Overall, I would say that I actually prefer the sound on the Beats over the AirPods. The bass response on the Beats is just in another league compared to the AirPods, but if you guys have watched any of my other headphone reviews in the past, you'll know that I'm really not a bass head, like, at all. So if that's all that the Beats had going for them, then I wouldn't be recommending these for the sound. The Beats really have come a long way since when they first came out, and the rest of the sound isn't too offensive either. So in the mid-range, I do think that the AirPods Pro have better performance there, so in terms of clarity in the vocals, the AirPods do have an advantage, but honestly, not by much. And overall, looking at the sound quality as a whole, I think the vast majority of people would find the Beats to be more enjoyable to listen to. The more robust low end just fills out the sound in a way that the AirPods just can't. And especially in genres where they use a lot of that, you'll notice a really big difference. So with that out of the way though, which of these do I recommend? And I think in 80% of situations, I would recommend the Beats over the AirPods. Just because they match the AirPods pretty much feature for feature, have a more secure fit, and most importantly, a more enjoyable sound. And especially if you're pretty active and plan to use these things in workouts, and you listen to a lot of hip hop, EDM, and that sort of thing, then the Beats are pretty easy to recommend. For me personally though, I think I'm actually going to stick with the AirPods for one reason. Well, actually two reasons. First is wireless charging. I have wireless charging pads on my desk and I just find it way more convenient to charge these via those than with a cable, which will clutter everything up. And second, most importantly, is portability. I've gotten used to the size of the AirPods Pro case and it just fits so well into my life that those advantages that the Beats have don't really matter to me if it feels like a hassle to bring them with me. Like I said though, I think that for 80% of people out there, the Beats are the better choice. Anyways, those are my thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Remember to smash that like button, and if you enjoy content like this, think about subscribing and hitting the bell so you don't miss anything. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace!